Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? For those of you who are unable to make this live video and you're watching later, I just want to let you know I'm going to do my best to put in some timestamps. I have a lot of information that I want to cover today, and there's a lot of different topics I'm going to be getting into. So it's kind of a mishmash of stuff here, but I do believe in many ways it all ties together. So if you're watching this later and you want to jump to certain areas, timestamps should be there below. And, we have our upcoming new moon in Sagittarius happening on the 23rd on this upcoming Wednesday. And this is a big new moon. It's probably one of the best new moons of the entire year. Thank goodness, after everything we just went through with the eclipses. As I mentioned to you guys in my alchemy program on our call last month, or no, this month actually, that this is probably one of the most fortuitous, big manifesting energy for like your biggest dreams ever. You want to capitalize on this new moon. Of course, starting now is when you're going to start feeling the effects of the new moon. So start doing your rituals now. For those of you interested, I have released the meditation I created for my alchemists that is basically a daily ritual that we're going to be doing for the next 30 days starting tomorrow morning. And we're going to be listening to it first thing. And it's to reprogram your mind and get you into a mindset for manifesting everything that you've held yourself back from manifesting. Nothing is too big. And it's really to get you into a groove where every day you're going to make the greatest day of productivity, of creation, of happiness, of excitement, of adventure. This new moon is so full of adventure. And I think in many ways, our soul needs something new to strive for after the release and the purge of everything that kind of happened with this eclipse season we just went through. So very much needed. The link for that meditation will be in the description below this video. And then also I have just released, as of today, a new service. I was guided to do this for you guys. I've never actually done this before, but I'm doing a 2023 forecast and predictions session where I'm going to take a look at all the major transits coming up in 2023. We've got Saturn finally leaving Aquarius and going into Pisces. We've got Pluto leaving Capricorn since it's been there since 2008. We've got Pluto going into Aquarius, the sign of the people, which is really great. I'm going to get into that in a little bit more later in the show. And we've also got Jupiter entering Taurus, which I think is going to bring I think in some cases it can bring some financial relief, softening of the blow that we've been experiencing. I think we're going to continue to experience over the next few months. But it also could expand some craziness. However, I'm going to take a look at that. And also Venus is going retrograde in Leo next year. And she's going to be in Leo from June all the way until the beginning of October. So we're going to see what house that's impacting you and what you can expect. And it's basically to help you guys navigate 2023, get ahead of the game, kind of look and see what are going to be your challenges, how are you going to work around it, what's kind of coming in for you, what can you prepare so that you're in the best place possible for you to really work towards your highest timeline of success. So that is also available in the description below. And for you guys in the chat, it's pinned above. So, really quickly, this new moon in Sagittarius, it's glorious. It's wonderful. This is where you really want to set some big intentions. Whatever your new moon rituals are, this is where you do not want to miss out on. Like, really have the intentions of what it is you want to create, and don't go small, go big. Go so big because Jupiter's going direct on the exact same day, just hours before the new moon. And because it's the ruler of Sagittarius, and also the ruler of Pisces, which it is entrined to, it's in a really favorable aspect to this new moon. There's just so much great energy here to really kind of take you well beyond the limitations that you've maybe been playing with or perceiving around you and your life and your goals and your aspirations and all of that. And so really important to understand what house Sagittarius represents for you as well as Pisces, because these two are going to be corresponding to really kind of give you some beautiful, uplifting momentum in your life path. And so, really setting intentions for this new moon is going to be powerful. All right. Let's get into secrets revealed. No more secrets. This is an energy that I have been kind of really picking up on when it comes to the last eclipse, the last two eclipses, I should say. So the Scorpio and the Taurus eclipse. There was this energy. Of course, Scorpio loves to purge, loves to reveal. It does not like things to stay hidden. It wants to get to the bottom of something. It wants to pull whatever's hiding right up to the surface. And this, I don't know how you guys experience the eclipses, but for me, definitely a lot of information came to light. Things I had not even been expecting. I was blindsided twice. When I say blindsided, I mean totally blindsided. Yeah, I had like a very towerish eclipse energy, but at the same time, it's all for a higher purpose. It's all for putting you in a position that is really enhancing your future goals, your future alignments, and making sure that whatever isn't in the right position for that is getting either purged or, I want to say, detoxified, removing of things that just can't stay there. And so one of the messages I keep getting around this too is that secrets are going to be just revealed a lot over the next 3 months. There's going to be a major purging of information, certain key figures in our world. I think there's certain things that are going to be revealed around them. Let me actually read from what I journaled around this. It's like, okay, let me just say this. What burdens you've been heavily carrying, or other people have been heavily carrying and thinking they can sustain those burdens. And I'm talking about the burdens of consciousness. Not consciousness, sorry, your conscience. Burdens of the conscience, but also just burdens of the soul. They can't be sustained, and they would be burdens that have been carried for a significant amount of time. And the reason why these can't be sustained is because there's an underlying energy or emotion or frequency that is stirring up desire and a certain level of consciousness that's driving us towards our true and ultimate happiness, which is really obviously great to understand, because I personally think that's a positive thing. However, there's so much gunk that's been piled up on top of that in the efforts of just trying to, I guess, do what you think you're supposed to do all the shoulds as opposed to all the coulds, and also trying to keep within a certain status or things like that. And so a lot of that's getting purged, and it's important to understand that what is rotten, what is toxic, what is impure in this energy is getting completely revealed. And so honest communications are going to be coming in. New information is going to be coming through as a result of these eclipses over the next 3 months or so. About 3 months. And it's going to be highlighting the purging of overindulgence, the purging of codependency, and also purging you not following what your true desires of your soul wishes have been. And so if you're not in alignment with these things, and you've maybe been overindulging in things that you shouldn't have been, or you know that they're not great for you, and that could be even behaviors or living a certain way that is really not in alignment with who you know you're stepping into. All of these things are coming up for review to be looked at. They're going to be kind of thrown in your face in many ways. And I think on a world stage, we're going to see some of this happen over the next few months. Something's coming out here around a couple of key figures that I think are going to be very shocking One of the interesting things, I will say this, with the whole FTX exposure thing, I am going to be having someone on my podcast very soon. Actually, hopefully next week is when I'll be able to air it, around all these scandals and what's getting exposed, and people really not living up to code, to put it mildly. So this is one of the things that is really, when we think about Taurus, also Taurus rules finances, Scorpio rules banking, investments, the markets, secrets, truth being revealed. And then we had Uranus, which is just like wanting to shake the whole thing up, just giving us surprises after surprises, no one seeing it coming, unless you were heavily in the know. So big things are going to be revealed here on the micro and the macro. So on a personal level, prepare for that. If you haven't been experiencing it yet, certain things are just going to be coming out. And also, if it doesn't reveal anyone else in your life, if it just refers to you, this is something you're really going to have to face. You don't want to run away from it. You don't want to avoid it. Pluto will not let you. And when I say Pluto won't let you, it's because this energy, Pluto is very scorpionic. It was very much tied into both eclipses, as even when we had the eclipse in Taurus, it was opposed by a stellium in Scorpio still. So a lot of scorpionic energy kind of coming out here. Now, one of the other messages that I've been getting around this somewhat, but also interesting, this download just came in the other day, was that the vibration around our money is changing. And it's part of the reason why it's causing so much upheaval in not just the markets, and in our society. When we look at inflation and all of that, there's a vibration change happening. And so I was kind of tuning into that, and I asked, okay, I was kind of asking, like, what do you mean the vibration's changing? And it's basically got the message that it was how we're interacting with our money is changing the vibration of money in general, which I think is really great, because I think we needed to really transmute a lot of the misuse of power around money, and how it's abused, how it's really used in a way that it has power over people. So I got that we're working money in a new way. So working money in a new way, no longer under the rule of money or under the rule of its power. And it's important that you must not be owned by money or be codependent with money. So I kind of like tuned into this a little more, right? And so what I got was that we're pulling out old ways of investing money is one of the things. And that's like, we want that fast, quick, instant gratification money thing, like, and so chasing things that maybe not of high ethical and moral value when it comes to money. And there's a shift within the consciousness of humanity that's affecting this vibration around money. And so people are starting to understand that happiness, it has more value than the actual dollar amount now. And I've been observing this across social media platforms, different people, I've been listening to them, they're speaking to their audiences and how their audiences have been reacting. And I'm seeing this happen. I'm seeing this shift, massive shift in consciousness around money. And it's really about teaching people that happiness is what will actually bring you more abundance. But not that more money will bring you happiness, right? Like it's kind of switching that vibration. So one of the ways that we're also going to be shifting the way we're working with money is there's a solid building of whatever it is that you're building to create that is maybe bringing you in more money or is costing you more money, or it could be like an investment of some sort. It's about doing it solidly, steadily, slowly, methodically, and doing it the right way first. Not having to go back and like refix things. Like, you're really taking your time with that. And it's also about the care and how we use money, how the money is being used is going to be changed, and also how the foundations that it is being used to build. So whatever is being built upon, it's helping to change even the foundation of money in itself. So there's a new foundation, and I think that comes from the intention that a lot of people are using. New ways of investing are going to be coming forward, and it doesn't mean that you can't have fast growth, but that happens when you're in direct alignment with freedom, sovereignty, being done on your terms and through your own creative process is going to be really key to this new vibration in money happening. And also, what's shifting here is that there's a level of consciousness now emerging that more so than ever before of not willing to increase money at the expense of physical health. So exhausting the person to death, basically. This is also part of the reason why the vibration is changing. And we're going to see a lot of people, I think the work week is going to be changing over the next 10 years or so, or how people are viewing work. So we've already seen people working a lot less hours when they're entrepreneurs and creating it's not just about passive income, but also working smarter and also working from your joy. Because when you're working from your joy, it doesn't feel like work anymore, and that's important. So this is about choosing happiness first, and then the money comes in. And so that's really an interesting. So I just thought it was interesting when I got that download that the actual vibration of money is actually shifting right now. And it's also one of the reasons why we're going to continue to see some sort of upheaval, because you can't use something with the old intentions when there's a new vibration on it. It's out of alignment. So it means you're going to have mishaps, unfortunate investments or things going sideways, unexpectedly, pitfalls, things falling apart. That sort of energy is going to start to build more momentum as the vibration increases. Okay, and then the other thing that I really wanted to get into here was Pluto shifting into Aquarius next year. This is a really big thing, and I was drawn to this and given some more information around this and how important this is to us as a society. There's a lot of fear porn being pumped out there about where we're heading, especially when it comes to the mark of the beast, currencies, loss of cash, digital currencies only, all of this sort of thing, social credit scores, you understand. So all of these things, there's a high chance that some, if not all of these things are going to be implemented. However, I understand from what I received yesterday was that they will not be long lasting because it's part of the purge of Pluto in Aquarius. So when Pluto moves into Aquarius, remember, Pluto wants to expose whatever is rotten, whatever is not serving anyone to the highest good, right? So as an Aquarian theme, this is exposing what is rotten in our society. And it will allow us to build better structures and better infrastructures. We're going to see very transformative technologies that are going to come through to help us overcome some of the, let's just call it, technologies that are being implemented that benefit a few and not many. And so there will be transformative technologies coming in. I've got a channeled message that I literally was just writing here, and all of a sudden information started coming through just 10 minutes before I did this video with you guys. So I'll get to that in a second. We're gonna move into a society that is more resilient through this 20-year cycle of Pluto and Aquarius. It's a 20-year cycle, so it's long. And we need it. We need it. The society has really failed itself when it comes to self-regulation, autonomy, really what's doing best for all. We've really failed at that. We've allowed convenience. We've allowed not wanting to know, putting our heads in the sand and letting other people make decisions for us really kind of get in the way of that. And this Pluto's not allowing for that anymore. So there's going to be a need, or I should say, well, definitely a need, but also a new drive that awakens within people to start making decisions for themselves. They want to be more self-regulating. So a self-regulating society that is going to also be very adaptable to the circumstances that it's coming in. So what we're going to see emerge over the next 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius is these technologies that come through that are going to be stop and start to begin with. We're going to have a lot of trial and error, see what works, what doesn't work. So some things will emerge. There might be some high hopes. They might be disappointing. Other ones will emerge and actually take off. But we're going to have stuff that actually allows us to be adaptable. So we don't get stuck in this circumstance that we now find ourselves in. Without a doubt, blockchain, I'm sure most of you are aware of this and can see this. Blockchain is going to become like a very integral part of this, of our society in becoming self-regulating and also being able to track, the originator of whatever it's information or a product, a service, something. But it's going to allow for there to be a ledger where you can't fib things, you can't hide things anymore. So this is part of the energy that's kind of coming through, and this is going to really, I think, over the next, I would say in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to really see the blockchain become more usable in our everyday lives, but it's going to really take off over the next, I would say, 4 to 8 years. This is also the Pluto energy that's coming in for Aquarius, for the people, because it is we the people, right? That's the energy of Aquarius. It is also when the Constitution was written, was during this time when Pluto was in Aquarius. So this is about not being behind the 8 ball. People are going to no longer be on the defense. This is about putting yourself in the offensive place where you do not need to necessarily defend yourself or be on the defensive. So we're going to see a massive shift in things that where right now we're very much on the defense. We're very much behind the 8 ball as a society. So this is going to be transforming. Now, I want to make this clear. There is some shittier times ahead. But as a result, it's going to stir up a lot of creative and genius-like inventions, ideas, technologies. It's going to cause almost like a rebirth within our society of wanting to, how do I say this? Really appreciating things that bring us back to the ability to be sovereign, the individual. So what Aquarian energy is very much is like the rebellion, right? It's the person who doesn't want to conform. And there's going to be this reawakening of not being the conformist and not wanting to just conform and really kind of allowing our minds to go outside the box and not feel like it's too much of a risk. So I think that's really important. Also, it's going to be a bridge builder within our community. So really bringing togetherness back into, I want to say, the conversation for sure. It's going to be a highlight over the next 20 years where before we've been more isolated and just kind of sticking to our own. And this is going to be more about the we versus the I. And we're gonna see like a complete overhaul of our society, but it's all necessary. And so, I mean, as you can see, even in your own personal life, if you go through like a really dark night of the soul, what you emerge back from as you transform, as you emerge from the chrysalis, it's a true transformation of your soul. You know, you are no longer the person you were then, but you had to go through some really dark times in order to come out really changed. And I'll get into something else in a second. I've been guided to use this reference point to help you guys understand. It'll also require us to go through a lot of trial and error and a lot of stops and starts. So it won't be some continuous kind of, you know, flowy kind of energy. It's going to be like a stop, start kind of energy. Before I read the message that I just journaled out, wrote out here for you guys, what I want you to think about in our times that we're in right now and where we're heading as a society is I want you to think about the idea of the ayahuasca journey. So when I did my ayahuasca ceremony in June, it was obviously the greatest purge of my life. If you haven't listened to the podcast on that one, I highly suggest you do. But it was something I was never even prepared for. Like, I didn't know it was possible to vomit in those ways. I didn't know that the body was capable of purging in that manner. And it was awful. It was awful in the moment. Absolutely awful. And at the same time as it was completely awful, there was something within the deep visceral act of it that was awakening something within me that was coming back to life. And this is what we're going to be experiencing when Pluto moves into Aquarius in March of next year out of Capricorn. Of course, it will go back into Capricorn for about 6 or 7 months later on in the year as it retrogrades, but then it'll be completely out of there and in Aquarius from January next year. So January 2024 and onward. But we're going to get a taste. We're going to see the seeds that are going to be planted. We're going to get an idea from March through June what we're in store for here going ahead. And this, you come out of it forever changed. You can never go back to the old you. Like, I can't go back to the old me. I don't know what the actual plant medicine does, like how it literally works in your mind, your body, your unconscious field, like everything. I don't know how it works exactly, but I can tell you it works. And so when we go through such a deep purge, which we're gonna have to go through, we have to understand this is a necessary purge in order to get to the place we want to. Just be in a mindset that is understanding of that, and you'll move through. And I think what people forget when they're talking about all this doom and gloom energy or these forecasts that are going to be coming through is that this is all part of the journey of getting us to the place where we know we're going to be growing as a society. And we have to see what is rotten in our society, what is toxic, what is absolutely killing us or weakening us that cannot continue to be with us anymore. And when we face that darkness, when we face that disgusting, smelly, rotting kind of energy, you know, no one wants to look at it. It's disgusting when it first comes out. Like, you think about, like, if you've ever had food in your fridge for a really long time and it got stuck at the back somewhere in a container, maybe it was there for like a year or something, and you pull it out and you're like, oh my God, it's gonna be like that. But then you get rid of it and eventually the smell goes away. But you now, like, it's kind of like that. So prepare for a really awful stench within our society, but it's because we have to clean out this really stinky wound that, you know, we've gotten ourselves into. Let me read you the message that I have here, and then I'll go into questions. So this is what I got. Don't let anyone get you down. The human enterprise to dream and live from its full expression is of your highest right and the gift of your technology. and they're talking about like the DNA technology. This the human technology is incredibly powerful. There will be difficult and challenging times ahead, but what must be purged, and it is never pleasant. However, in the process of the purge, new life and ideas are birthed, concepts unable to be seen through all the dirt and the grime and toxicity will now be seen. A new lens for your future will be given through this purge, and very clever people will step forward to lead the masses to a much more beneficial society built on communal respect of the individual. I love that part. You will be transformed. You will not be able to go back to how things were, nor will you want to. So it's kind of one of those things where you really got to push through the storm. And the faster we push through it as opposed to running away from it, right? Like that's how you get through a storm, is you run through it. You don't like try to run in the opposite direction, because it's going to keep following you and you're going to get exhausted, and then you're going to have to be in it longer than you ever wanted to. So for those that are ready for this and are in the mindset to face it, I think that, understand that we're in one of the greatest challenges of our lives that we've seen from our own existence in this lifetime. And I get a very deep sense that what's going to arise from all of this is going to be incredibly inspirational, incredibly groundbreaking, but also it's going to wow all of us in many ways, because once the purge happens, like this message was saying, you can't see what you need to see ahead of you, what's really of benefit to you when you're covered, your eyes are covered in all of this unhealthy, unconscious, destructive kind of energy. Like, this is one of the messages I actually got before I went into my ayahuasca journey and my psilocybin journeys, was that I will be shown, my mind will be shown things I had never even knew were possible or conceivable after going through the purge of the ayahuasca and also the journey of the psilocybin, which to me really helps to reset neural pathways. It helps to cover old ones that aren't really working and form new ones. And so my mind has truly opened up to things that what I'm kind of building right now and what I'm seeing for my future, even on a personal level, is so much bigger than I was even seeing a few months ago. Like, I didn't even know it was possible. And that's what I think we're in store for with the Pluto and Aquarian energy that we're going to be seeing over the next 20 years. And of course, this is about strengthening the people. And sometimes in order to find your strength, you have to be taken to your weakest link, your weakest moment. And then like the lion within you roars, the lion comes to life. And I feel like the lion is going to absolutely come to life. And we're going to see, again, this one is very, very clear to me. This message that came through is very, very clear. There will be technologies that will overcome the ones that are restrictive of society and humanity, the ones that make you feel less than, looked down upon. Those will be overcome. There will be ways around it. Do not fear that you are set up to live a life of imprisonment. There will be breakthroughs made. Your minds are way more ingenious than you give yourselves enough credit for. There is so much possibility. Like fireworks of possibility that will be birthed from all of this. So don't lose faith in humanity. Don't lose faith in yourself. Don't lose faith in your neighbor. Don't lose faith. Believe in the strength of your own human enterprise. Okay, what you are able to produce and create here. So that's kind of, I'll leave it there. And let me just see, is there any questions that came up in the live chat here with you guys? My energetic tribe, Nicole, I resonate so much with these predictions. As a life purpose coach, I talk about the new purpose-driven economy we are building to replace the product-driven economy that's crashing now. Exactly, purpose-driven economy. And that's exactly how it feels because, and that's even like the purpose-driven money, right? When we talk about like that vibration that's changing, it's really, there's like a purpose behind there. So thank you so much for saying that and sharing that. Okay. Let me see here. Anything else? Andreas, hello. Zeph, hello. Dots MC, hello. Beth, up 3. So good to see you. Happily humbled. Bonnie, Anna, Nick. Good to see you guys. Zephyr, the whole world is going to puke its guts out, but will be better afterwards. Exactly. Just think of this as like a massive collective ayahuasca purge of our society. So very cool. Okay, well, if there are no questions, again, just know that there's so much that you can prepare yourself with. This is why I released the new meditation today on my website. For anyone who's in alchemy, it's already in there. And of course, if you want to join us in the alchemy family, please do. You'll get access to the server, the private server we use. And we're going to start our 30-day challenge tomorrow with this meditation and see what kind of shifts and changes are happening within all of us. Already, I've gotten really good feedback from you guys in alchemy around this particular meditation. And also, you know, to prepare yourself for what's kind of coming in. If you want to know how Pluto's going to be impacting you in 2023, the Saturn shift into Pisces, the Jupiter shift into Taurus, and of course the Venus retrograde are like some of the really big things that are going to be happening next year. And so I've got that new service that's pinned in the chat and also in the description below this video. If you're interested in booking a session with me around that, we'll take a look at it again. It's a 75-minute session because we're going to go over a lot of work and I'm going to need your chart. And I'm also going to incorporate tarot to help understand, like, you know, we'll see like what the timeline looks like and what the timeline could be like, and how to best equip you for like the highest outcome, the highest timeline for 2023. So, guys, I love you so much. I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this message was helpful to you. I hope you understand that whenever you hear doom and gloom, know that it might be true. Like there's truth to it. I'm not going to lie. But there's also another side. There's another part of that can't be ignored. You know, we all go through peaks and valleys in our life, and you can't truly enjoy the peak without the valley. You know, it's when we talk about that contrast in our life and the dark and the light, it's so important. And so, yeah, there's going to be some darker times ahead. However, I want to say that on a whole, what we've been through this challenging last 3 years, 2020, 21, now 22, 23 is where it starts to lighten up. 23 is where we start to breathe a little lighter. Okay. And it's going to start to get that momentum going as we move forward. Doesn't mean we're not going to get hit with some other challenges, but there's an overall lightness that's kind of coming through. And I think that, of course, depending on what you've been doing in your own personal life, in your own healing journey, what you've been willing to face is going to have a direct correlation on how you experience everything going forward. So remember that you have a choice. This is what I love about Joe Dispenza's work, is that you have a choice on how you experience anything. It's your perspective and your beliefs that are going to shape all of that. So go in with the right belief set, go in with the right mindset. Okay. And again, that's why I'm putting this meditation out. I think it's going to be really helpful. Just even like throughout, like even if you hit hard times or low times, it's one of those things, just kind of reprogram your mindset to get you in a better place energetically and a frequency that's just ready to like create again and be in gratitude and really see your power. So, guys, I love you. Have an awesome week. And of course, on the podcast this Tuesday, I have Consuelo coming back and we have a really fun show lined up for you. She channels some really cool information, or beings, I should say, around we talk about the transplanting consciousness through organs, but also the newer souls that are coming to our planet right now, where they're coming from and why they're coming here right now, and where they're going to be in the world, and what they're working to do within our society, which is actually very Aquarian energy, because we're going to talk about removing traditions that are not serving. So it's okay to keep traditions that are working for society and that are helpful, but there's going to be an upheaval, and it's really interesting where these beings are coming from, and who's kind of, because I asked, like, was there a galactic kind of like, I don't know, not a galactic SOS, but almost a recruitment. And so we're going to get into that. It's a really cool show. You guys are going to love it. So that's Tuesday night. Don't miss it. And yeah, and happy Thanksgiving ahead of time for everyone who's celebrating Thanksgiving. I know I'm excited to have turkey this week. Really excited. So guys, I love you. I love you. I love you. Have an awesome night, and I'll see you guys really soon.